Here with us now. We can take questions on Zoom. And Stephen, go ahead.
Laura, thanks for taking time to talk with us this morning. I wonder if you could start by talking about your overall thoughts going into the game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think excited to get back on the field again. Looking forward to being back at home. Obviously a really difficult stretch coming up for us, 3-game week with 3 really good teams. So I think we're ready, we're prepared. I think obviously last week disappointed with the result, but I think we stuck to our game plan, and I think we're going to have to do the same thing leading into these games.
Thanks, Stephen. And then Susie.
Hi, Laura. I was just going to ask what the team takes away from the first match against San Diego and kind of lessons that you learned, good and bad, that you're taking into the match tomorrow.
Yeah, I think similar to the story of the season, really. I thought we did a good job in how we'd set up, how we'd structured ourselves for big periods of that game. We obviously had some injuries and illnesses and people not available for that game. Unfortunately, the injuries haven't got much better, but we know that we did some good things defensively in that game. We just weren't really a threat as much as we wanted to be on the offensive side. So I think trying to match the two, like continue to have that attacking threat, but also be mindful that they obviously have a lot of attacking threats too. So we've got to make sure that we're defensively solid.
Thanks, Susie. And then we'll take Charles.
Hey, Laura. I know last time we were home, Lou and Jess really talked about how not just themselves, but the team kind of needs to look themselves in the mirror. And you know, this is something that's very achievable to be turned around. It's just, you got to take care of your own things. I believe you mentioned that as well. It's a mental thing. It's a personal thing. I just was curious what you've seen through training and then obviously through the last match on the road there in terms of the group's response and, you know, not necessarily like, oh, we're panicking. It's more of we understand what's wrong here and the ability to turn around, like what you're seeing from the group's reactions and how confident you are in turning this around.
Yeah, I think the group has stayed pretty level-headed. I think that we're a process-driven environment. Like, yes, results are important. We're in a results business. But I think when you live through process and you live through performance-related, you know, how you view games is performance-related. That's what makes everyone feel that we're not that far away. I think, have we been threatening enough at times? Yeah. Have we finished chances when we should? No. Have we given the opponent opportunities to score goals that's quite unlike us? Yes. So we've got to try and marry the two up a little bit to get in a position where, because we know that, you know, we haven't been able to score a ton of goals, we've got to keep the opponent limited to nothing as much as possible. So I think that's where sort of the mindset goes, and fair play to the group. I think that every week there's been a few times where we've been really frustrated, or, you know, you can see the players it's hurting them a lot. But I think because they see what we're trying to do, I think they're very engaged and very much want to try and turn this around for sure.
Thanks, Charles. And then Stephen.
Laura, you alluded to, like, you've got a very tough set of fixtures coming up in the next week or two. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about kind of balancing squad rotation and fitness with all these games being very important for getting results.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think we're in a good with the people that are healthy. We're in a good place. I think physically we're in a good spot. So the thought of having to play Friday, Wednesday isn't too challenging. I think that Wednesday, Saturday will be the big area of focus of what do we need for Kansas to try and get a result, but also what do we need going down to Portland. And I don't know what this noise is, but it's literally burning a hole through my brain.
Susie, can you hold off 1 second?
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly, someone's got a screwdriver going through my ear hole.
We can't hear it at all on our end, so sorry for you.
It's horrific. It's now stopped. But okay, Susie, go.
You mentioned health and injuries. I'm wondering if you can give an update at all on Quinn's status.
Yeah, I think not as bad as first feared. I've said this a lot about everybody, but without giving too much away. But Friday will be too soon.
And you mentioned last week Jordan and Claudia are weeks, not days away. Just wondering how they're progressing.
Yeah, both doing well. Jordan's on the field now, which is great. Claudia's probably a few days away from being on the field, so they're both progressing well.
One more follow-up for me. You talked about giving away what feel like uncharacteristic goals for the team, and a lot of those have come in transition. I'm just wondering how you, or some of them recently, wondering how you think about approaching that as a team and what the conversation looks like to try to limit those chances. Is it
Always
not
the same.
getting out of shape or giving the ball away in bad spots?
Always the same. Don't give the ball away, first and foremost. You don't have to deal with transition. But prevention is better than cure. It doesn't matter who you are. You can't stop transition if you don't structure yourselves well enough prior to it happening. It doesn't matter who you are, what type of team you are, what personnel you have. It's impossible. So getting the structure right behind the ball is massively important. And being pragmatic at times in what you do with the ball is also important in those moments. So again, like the Carolina goal comes in a bit of transitional moment and also comes when we're a player down. So be pragmatic in that moment. We're down to 10, like get it in an area where they can't transition on you. Has been an area of focus for us.
Thanks, Susie. And then it looks like
I have one more.
Yeah.
I didn't see any hands up. We haven't seen the rookies on the field yet, but I'm wondering just how has their integration been like in the squad, and do you foresee, as you know, a busy week coming up, a role for them?
They've been great. I think I say this all the time. Every rookie's journey is different, and for Maddie and for Sam specifically, Sam actually has had a tough time with different things, illness, etc. So it's sort of this time of the year that you get to see if they're going to turn a corner or not physically, and they both have definitely done that. Their training habits, what they're producing on the field every day has been a really high level of late. So I'm really excited for what that could bring for our team moving forward.
Thanks, Susie. All right, that should be it for questions. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Laura.